Welcome to the Human with AI channel. Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Andy. We're AI team assistants here on the Human with AI channel.
It really feels like for ages now, the business world has been just buzzing about generative AI. GenAI, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's this huge vision, massive investment going in,
Mm.
and you can see why the potential seems enormous.
It really does. But, as companies actually start trying to implement it, moving past that initial excitement phase,
Yeah,
it's becoming pretty clear it's maybe a bit more complex than it first looked. Getting it working, I mean.
that's exactly it. Moving from the idea to the reality, it turns out unlocking the real power is tricky.
Right. And we've been looking at some really interesting recent research on this from Deloitte Center for Integrated Research.
Yeah, that global survey they did with what, nearly 2,800 leaders?
That's the one just from this past summer. And honestly, there's a finding right near the start that kind of surprised me.
Okay, what was it?
Well, you'd think maybe the big reason GenAI adoption is slow is because companies aren't seeing the money yet. The ROI isn't there fast enough.
That would be the intuitive guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But the survey found nearly two-thirds, 66% of leaders don't think that's the main reason. They don't think failing to get the value is the primary holdup.
Wow. Okay, 66%. That is counterintuitive.
Totally. So these leaders are basically saying it's not that the potential ROI isn't real or reachable, it's something else getting in the way.
Which actually frames it pretty positively, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, it means the value proposition is still strong. It's still there, waiting to be unlocked if organizations can just figure out how.
Ah, okay, I see. So the question shifts. It's not, is it valuable, but more like, what's really stopping us, and how are the folks who are making progress actually doing it?
Exactly. How are those more progressive organizations bridging that gap between all that potential and the practical deployment?
And the research suggests the answer isn't always about launching brand new, shiny Gen AI projects from zero, right? It's not like a clean slate situation.
No, often it's kind of the opposite. The answer that kept coming up in the research is that they're building on what they already have, their existing AI applications.
Uh-huh. Okay, now that's interesting. So it's not seeing Gen AI as this completely separate thing you just add on top.
Right.
It's more like an upgrade, a powerful new layer you build onto your existing, maybe more traditional AI stuff.
That's precisely what the Deloitte analysis points to.
Yeah.
Gen AI implementations really seem to thrive when they're integrated with and can build upon a solid foundation of, let's say, traditional AI that's already working in the company.
Like upgrading the engine in a car that already has a good chassis and wheels.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Instead of trying to build a whole new car just for that fancy new engine.
Got it. Okay, so our mission here really is to unpack that, to understand how these current existing AI capabilities are acting as launch pads, making Gen AI success possible, maybe even faster.
Exactly. How do those existing pieces help?
So where does the research say these critical foundations lie? What are the key areas?
It points to three main areas where existing AI capabilities are proving, well, pretty essential. Language capabilities, prediction capabilities, and vision capabilities.
Okay, let's start with language. That seems like a really natural connection given Gen AI's focus on text and communication. What's the state of existing language AI out there, according to the survey?
Well, the data shows there's actually a lot of it already in use.
Yeah.
A big majority, 79% of the organizations they surveyed, already use traditional AI for text chatbots.
Wow, 79%. That's high.
It is. And then 62% use it for intelligent automation involving text, 47% for voice agents dealing with customers, and another 47% using natural language processing NLP for things like analyzing or summarizing big chunks of text.
So these aren't just experiments, they're pretty established tools in many places.
Pretty sure, yeah. Already baked into a lot of business processes.
So companies have already got systems that handle language in maybe a more basic way. How does Gen AI then build on that foundation?
It basically allows a massive leap in sophistication and what these systems can do. For instance, it's enabling what they call agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
Yeah, AI systems that can tackle complex tasks or sequences of tasks kind of autonomously without constant human handholding, often by using natural language to interact with other systems or data.
Okay.
And the research expects huge growth in these more complex agents being deployed. And they're built right on top of that existing foundation of understanding and processing language.
Can you give an example, maybe one from the research? How does the company actually connect the old and the new here?
Sure. They mentioned a big consumer goods company,
Yeah.
manufacturing environment, machinery downtime is super expensive.
God, that.
They had tons of equipment manuals, troubleshooting guides, all digitized. But when something complex went wrong, the operations teams had to manually dig through all this technical stuff to find the fix.
Which takes ages, right? Especially when things are down and pressure's on.
Exactly. So they already had some basic text chatbots and NLP for finding information. They integrated GenAI with that existing setup.
And created what? A smarter assistant?
Pretty much. A GenAI-powered digital assistant just for the operations teams. So instead of searching databases or reading dense manuals.
Someone on the factory floor could just type in a question, like, machine X is making noise Y.
Exactly. Using simple, plain language, describe the symptoms.
Yeah.
And the GenAI assistant, using the digitized manuals and the existing NLP's ability to process text, could quickly suggest causes and troubleshooting steps, pulled right from the manuals.
Wow.
That integration, the new GenAI smarts on top of their existing language AI, apparently saved them millions by cutting down time significantly.
That's a fantastic example, taking what they had and making it way more powerful with GenAI. Okay, so that's language. What about the second one? Prediction capabilities. Lots of companies use AI for predicting things already, right?
Oh, absolutely. Many businesses rely heavily on traditional AI for prediction and analysis. Think cybersecurity using AI to spot threats. That's huge, 59% daily use in the survey.
Okay.
You got prediction and optimization models, maybe for supply chains or demand forecasting, used by 55%, and pattern and anomaly detection, like for fraud, used by 44%.
So identifying cyber threats, optimizing logistics, predicting sales, spotting weird financial stuff. Pretty standard AI applications now.
Exactly. Established uses where AI crunches data to find trends, predict outcomes, detect outliers.
Yeah.
Now, GenAI doesn't usually replace these core prediction models.
Okay, so what does it do?
It often makes them better, or rather makes their outputs more useful, especially by making the complex results easier for humans to understand and act on.
Ah, so it's like a translator, taking complex AI results and putting them into plain English.
That's a really good way to put it. The research had an example from oil and gas.
Hmm.
An energy company had this AI system, a predictive maintenance dashboard for their equipment.
Super effective at spotting potential issues from sensor data. But it generated a ton of warnings, technical alerts for the engineers.
Right. Information overload. Too much noise to find the signal.
Precisely. Engineers were wasting time just trying to figure out which alerts mattered and what they meant. So they layered GenAI on top of their existing prediction and anomaly detection systems.
And the GenAI did what? Filtered the alert.
More than filtered. It analyzed the flood of alerts, summarized them in plain language, and this is key. It interpreted why an alert was important, what the potential impact might be.
So instead of just alert code 7D on pump 3,
Yeah, instead of that, the engineer might get a summary like, sensor X shows pattern Y. This predicts a possible pump failure in unit Z within 48 hours because of issue pay.
okay, actionable intelligence, not just raw data.
Exactly. It turns that overwhelming technical detail into something concise you can act on. The engineers get prioritized, understandable summaries. They can diagnose faster, allocate resources better, prevent failures. Big improvement in efficiency, less downtime. That's powerful. It unlocks the value that was kind of already in the existing models but trapped by complexity. Okay, third foundation, vision capabilities. This sounds maybe a bit more niche.
It is, relatively. The survey showed fewer companies using vision AI compared to language or prediction. But for those who have invested here, it's a strong base for GenAI. We're talking biometrics used by 44%, computer vision 28%, intelligent robotics 19%, and things like digital twin simulations, much smaller percentages.
Have systems that analyze images, video, recognize things, guide robots, create digital copies of real-world assets.
Exactly, bridging the digital and physical. AI interpreting visual patterns, objects, spaces.
And how does GenAI boost these existing vision systems?
The research mentioned an example in healthcare manufacturing.
Wow.
Super regulated product quality is everything. They already used computer vision for quality control on production lines, spotting defects humans might miss.
Makes sense.
So this global manufacturer had built up traditional AI, including pattern detection, computer vision, robotics over 5 years, a solid foundation. Then they set up a dedicated center just to explore how GenAI could enhance that specific foundation.
So they weren't just playing with new GenAI models randomly. They were targeting how it could improve what they already did well with vision and robots.
Precisely. And that collaboration, the new Gen AI, maybe understanding visual context better or generating insights from visual data, combined with their existing vision systems, led to big improvements,
Like what?
spotting subtler problems in manufacturing or product quality issues that even the traditional computer vision might have struggled to flag or categorize properly. Better precision, faster quality control.
So whether it's better language interaction, making predictions understandable, or improving how we see and act on visual data,
Hmm.
the pattern seems clear.
Yeah.
If you already had a good base in traditional AI in these areas, Gen AI isn't a replacement. It's like an accelerator, an enhancer. It makes that original investment even more valuable.
That is absolutely the core message from the research. Gen AI isn't some magic bullet you just drop in and everything changes. Its real transformative power gets unlocked when you strategically integrate it into what you already have, into that robust existing AI ecosystem.
And the report suggests that companies not doing this, they might be in trouble.
It's pretty clear on that.
Mm.
Organizations that aren't actively integrating, not building on their current capabilities, they're likely going to face real challenges pretty soon, like in the next couple of years, as competitors who are using this synergistic approach start pulling ahead.
Okay, that feels like a pretty significant takeaway. It has big implications, right? For leaders setting strategy, deciding where the money goes,
Absolutely.
and also for us professionals just trying to navigate our jobs day to day. What should leaders be taking away from this?
For leaders, it really demands a shift in thinking. First, prioritize those foundational investments. Don't just chase the latest Gen AI model. You have to invest in the basics that make any AI work. Modern data infrastructure, scalable tech platforms, secure systems, and crucially, developing talent. People with the right skills.
Right. The foundations need to be solid.
The research hammers this home. Skimp on the base, and your fancy Gen AI initiatives will likely struggle no matter how cool the tech looks.
Can't put a race car engine in a rusty old car and expect it to win.
Exactly. Second, leaders need to be pragmatic, get past the hype. Identify specific, high-value uses for Gen AI that actually align with business goals and can show real, tangible ROI. Focus on measurable value, not just tech for tech's sake.
And third, there's always a third thing.
The people side. Champion strategic change management. This is so critical. Gen AI changes roles, workflows, how people work. Leaders must manage expectations, build a culture where learning and adapting is normal, and really invest in upskilling people to work with AI, not against it.
Yeah, ignoring the human element seems like a recipe for disaster.
Totally. The research warns about it: internal resistance, trouble keeping good people, losing ground to competitors who manage the human side better.
Makes complete sense. Tech changes are always people changes too. Okay, what about for professionals? For individuals, what does this mean for us right now?
The message is just as important, I think, and needs action now. First, continuous learning in AI literacy is key. Getting good at talking to AI, prompt engineering, they call it.
Right, knowing how to ask the right questions to get good results.
Exactly. That's fast becoming a core skill no matter your job. The research suggests if you don't develop this, you'll just be less effective than colleagues who are using AI well.
So learning to speak AI is non-negotiable.
Pretty much the new digital fluency. Second, really focus on cultivating your uniquely human skills. As AI takes over more routine stuff, things like critical thinking, real creativity, tackling complex, messy problems, nuanced communication, emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, those become even more valuable. That's where your edge is.
The things AI assists with but can't actually replace.
Precisely. Your differentiator. And third, become AI augmented yourself. The future isn't people versus AI. It's people working with AI, using it like a co-pilot to boost your own productivity, find deeper insights, automate the boring stuff, unlock new ways of working.
Resisting it means getting left behind.
The risk is definitely there. Your traditional skills might lose value faster if you're not integrating AI into how you work.
So it really hammers home that getting value from Gen AI isn't just about installing software. It's strategic, it's organizational, it's deeply human.
It truly is. And, that resonates with what we explore here on the Human with AI channel. This research just underscores that successful tech transformation, especially with something big like Gen AI, it's never just about the tech.
Right. It's about people, processes, how everything fits together strategically.
Yeah. Building that strong AI foundation isn't just technical work on data or infrastructure. It's also about boosting team skills, making sure everyone understands how AI is being used, communicating clearly.
And having those sort of human-centered strategies to make sure the change actually sticks and works for people.
Exactly. It takes foresight, careful planning, Good execution that integrates the tech and the people, building on those existing strengths, getting the whole organization systems and people ready for what Gen AI enables.
So, as you're listening and thinking about your own situation, maybe consider this. What skills do you already have? What tools, what systems are already in place where you work? How could those be the foundation for using future AI, including Gen AI?
Good question.
And maybe what's just one small practical step you could take, say, this week? Maybe learn a new prompting trick or look at an existing process and think, could AI help here? Just one step to start preparing or strengthening that foundation.
Yeah, think about that potential that might already be there, just waiting.
Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation on the Human with AI channel.
We really appreciate you tuning in and exploring these ideas with us.